Welcome to the Allelys Podcast, where we take you inside the people, projects and thinking behind one of the UK's leading specialist transport and heavy lift businesses. Now, in this series, we're going to explore what drives Allelys forward, how the business is evolving and what excellence delivered really means in practice. Today, I'm joined by, fairly new Managing Director, Richard Beardmore. How are you doing, Richard? You all right?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Good.
So to tell us a little bit about your role, because I know you didn't jump straight in as Managing Director. You kind of moved up, but so you've been in the business for a little while, haven't you?
So I've been with the business approaching 5 years now. So I started in the sales department. And then in November, December of last year, I took the Managing Director position. So kind of a lot going on in a very short space of time, but enjoying every minute.
And I caught up with Nathan in the last episode. He's got a military background, as have you, although rival units. And he says, we do actually get on because there can be a bit of rivalry there, can't there?
There's always a bit of a friendly rivalry, let's say. But I kind of left school, joined the military, did around 6 years in the British Army, in the Royal Engineers. So that was my kind of background.
Well, for anybody who perhaps hasn't discovered Allelys before, or they're aware of them and maybe go, I think I know what they're about. It's all about logistics, but it's actually a lot more to it than that. How would you describe what the business is, what it does for those people who are going, I think I know, but maybe they don't actually?
Yeah, it's kind of a niche market that we work in. So as you said at the start, heavy lift specialist transport business, projects business. So we move critical infrastructure around the UK, up and down the UK, predominantly in the power sector at the moment. So 80 to 90% of our business is in the power market, which has been an evolving kind of market over the past sort of 10 years, moving away from traditional gas, coal powered fired power stations, moving more into renewables, so energy from waste markets, just greener sources of energy, really. So that's what we do. What does it involve? It involves heavy transport. We're operating 10 girder frame trailers in the UK market at the moment. So some of the biggest sort of trailers and tractor combinations that are in the UK. Installation operations. So when this cargo gets to site, we're installing it via jacking and skidding or cranes. We run a fleet of heavy lift cranes as well. So it's kind of turnkey solution from port to foundation.
And I know the business has changed quite a lot. Well, in the last couple of years, but it's obviously the industry is evolving constantly as well. Like you say, it's changed from those traditional energy sources to the kind of renewables a little bit more. So for you as Managing Director, what is it about Allelys that kind of excites you about leading that company and kind of pushing forward for the future?
I think it's the evolution. I think it's the change that we've seen over the past. I mean, in my time, in the past 5 years, the business is changed exponentially from where it started. Even going back to the 50s when the business first started moving livestock around the UK to where it kind of is now. It's a journey, and I think we need to keep evolving to keep that momentum going. So the future years for us means a lot of change and adapting to the market, but also our clients' needs. And there's a lot of changes, exciting changes coming up for Allelys in the future, kind of short term, future 5 years, and long term thereafter. So it's changing, it's been dynamic. That's the excitement for me.
And does that all kind of revolve around this new kind of thing that you're pushing forward with excellence delivered? Is that the kind of big thing in terms of your focus?
I think so. I mean, excellence delivered is ultimately a commitment to not only our clients, but to our employees as well. So as a business, we employ circa 200 people, and it's about holding everyone accountable within the business, and it's about success as a team. But yeah, absolutely, it's excellence delivered is understanding the needs of our client and ensuring that we're delivering that through our business. It's a challenging market that we operate in. It's a projects environment. It's quick pace, and we have to be adaptable. But similarly, no project is that important, or no service is that critical that we can't afford the time to be safe and do things properly. So a lot of the projects that we work on, 12 months lead time maybe in order to get from proposal to wheels on the ground. So a lot of preparation, but in projects things go not wrong. That's the wrong word, but
Well, things happen, don't they?
Things change.
Of
Things
course they do,
change.
yeah.
And so we've got to learn to be adaptable and to be able to continue to operate in a safe manner and deliver ultimately excellence for our clients.
And so this kind of excellence delivered, cultural shift, the change in the business, is that something that internally the company wanted to do, or is that a reaction to the market, to what customers want? How did that come about?
I think it's a little bit of both. Ultimately, as a business, we've always wanted to deliver excellence to our clients. But excellence is changed over the past 10 years, 20 years. What was suitable and acceptable 20 years ago is no longer suitable, acceptable now. And although we've always delivered high levels of standards through health and safety, engineering, project planning, as the business has grown and investment in assets, people has grown, we've also had to adapt our ways to say, okay, the structure that was in place worked then, it doesn't work now. The processes that we had in place then don't work now. So it's not saying we've got higher standards, but the standards have had to change in order to enable a company to grow to the point it's at now.
Makes sense. So in terms of the challenges then that you've faced, is that internal, external? I mean, probably a mixture of both, I guess, really, over the last few years.
Yeah, so there's external influence, of course. Things are getting more and more difficult in terms of permits and enabling these heavy loads to operate on the UK highway. It's an aging infrastructure. Permit timescales take a lot longer. So there's a lot of external factors where we've had to adjust our internal behaviours to resolve it. So we have probably a 10, 15 strong engineering department now to cater for the standards in engineering and RAMS documentation that we need to provide. We probably have a similar size project management department because every project needs that kind of one-to-one, that personal touch. Routing and permitting, we have a team of people that are looking after that. Feasibility studies and the like. So the business has had to adapt to the external kind of influences. Similarly, as a business, we've had to adapt internally as well. As I say, more people means we need a more robust structure. Obviously, myself being appointed managing director late on last year was one of those changes. We're also looking at our whole senior leadership team to ensure that we've got the right skill set, the right competencies within that team to drive us into the future.
And I know actually you've got some appointments kind of pending, haven't you? Which you can't necessarily talk about now, but hopefully on future episodes we might be able to introduce some new members.
Yeah, I mean I can touch on it, but yeah, we've got everything from a new financial kind of group financial director coming into the business, through to a new ops director that comes with a significant amount of industry experience and very high meticulous standards. We have appointments for like communications managers because, as I say, as the business grows, we need to get better at communication. So yeah, there's a lot of new appointments coming in that we can talk about in the future. But I think it's exciting times, and it's all for the betterment of the business.
Now, I know you mentioned you don't necessarily like talking about rivals and those others in the industry. You want to focus on what you're doing. Yeah. So in terms of where you are in the market, what sort of sets Allelys apart, would you say? I
think a combination of things will set us apart. I think depth of knowledge is certainly up there. As I say, we started in the 50s, early 50s. Maurice Allelys established the business along with his father, moving livestock. Still a family-owned business now. 3 brothers heavily involved in the business: Rob, Dave, and Pete Allelys. And so, you can't just pick that knowledge and that kind of pedigree off a shelf. It takes years to establish that. Aside from that, we've got the asset base. So as I say, we operate 10 girder frame trailers in the UK, which is far beyond probably any company in the world at this point. So I think that experience, the capability and capacity, I think that's first and foremost. And being more kind of established in the market, we've already done our learning. We've learned from any mistakes that we've made. We've put the processes in place. We've done the lessons learned. So Yeah, I think there's a lot of value add to working with a company such as Allelys, far beyond the other options that are available on the market at the moment.
So you mentioned some of the heavy equipment that you've got. I mean, I know you've got quite a huge sort of amount of. We can see a lot of the videos on the YouTube channel, which it's incredibly impressive to watch some of those projects and those pieces of equipment in practice. But it's not just that. I mean, you've got big plans around buildings, offices, and things like that as well, haven't you? In terms of capital investment, I mean, it's quite an exciting time. Can you share some of what's coming up?
Yeah, I think a business such as ours is a hungry business, so there's a lot of demand on cash constantly. So yeah, with the growth, in the growth, looking at my time within the business over the last 5 years, the business is doubled in size. So with that comes a lot of demands for cash. But it's all reinvestment. It's all reinvestment back into the business. So in terms of asset wise, as we've said, we've recently purchased brand new equipment, state of the art equipment, and we're continuing to reinvest into the heavy crane side of the business. So we've recently ordered another heavy lift crane that's going to come into the market, hopefully this side of Christmas. And then, office space buildings. So geographically, we're looking at options both in the UK but outside of the UK as well to expand and scale our business beyond the current setup. I'm not going to go too much into locations. I'll keep those cards close to my chest at the moment. But yeah, anywhere where there's emerging markets or there's somewhere where our skill set, our knowledge base, our assets can be used, we've got the hunger to go there as well. So yeah, plenty of reinvestments, plenty of different things that we're looking at for the future.
Must be really interesting trying to work out those capital investments, because they're not small investments. No. And it's not like you can go, well, we've got this project, we now need this piece of equipment. You've kind of got to get that piece of equipment before you can go for the project. So how do you kind of anticipate where the market's going and what you need? That's quite tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, I think historically within our business, that's been gut feel from the owners, and credit to them. I think they understand their market well enough to understand there's a good potential here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, I think credit to the owners that they've been able to spot that from a mile off. I think because we are a family-owned business, I think we stand aside from the businesses that are maybe owned by banks or capital investment firms. We can make those decisions very quickly. So as those opportunities arise, we're able to just go after them straight away. We're not heavily reliant upon banks. As I say, money's reinvested into the business year on year. So we're never in a position where we have to convince the bank manager, so to speak, that this is the right thing to do.
So you can be kind of relatively nimble, perhaps. Is that something that sets you apart again from your competitors, that perhaps sometimes they can't necessarily move as quickly as you?
Yeah, absolutely is. I think our ability to react to market conditions, changing market conditions, is absolutely something that makes us stand apart from our competitors, for sure. And we've proven that time and time again. All the asset purchases have been on the basis of an opportunity within the market, be that an aging infrastructure, which means we need lighter equipment, and we've made those investments in lighter equipment in order to overcome the challenges on the UK highways network, to cranes, to anything else. So wherever there's an opportunity, we go for it. I think the point to note here as well is obviously we are a project business. That's kind of the core market at the moment. But it didn't used to be. We have general haulage. We have a general haulage business. We have kind of like a heavy transport business, which is kind of sits alongside the project business. Right. We have storage opportunities within the headquarters. We have a business basically set up around feasibility and consultancy work. So wherever the opportunities are, we will invest.
Let's come back to excellence delivered now then, and focus on that. And it's very, and we talked about this in previous episodes, how it's very easy as a big company to kind of come up with a phrase like that and stick it on a wall somewhere and kind of never come back to it, whereas you're kind of trying to live it in everything that you do. How do you actually go about making sure that actually happens?
Yeah, so excellence delivered for me it's a commitment through and through. As I said before, it's a commitment to our clients, but also to our employees. It's big words that we need to underpin, and that is underpinned by our three pillars of precision, performance, and accountability. So that's what underpins excellence for us. It's not just something for show. It's not just something that we're telling our clients. It's something that we need to deliver on day in, day out. And so, it's not something that's being put in a box. It's going to be part of our DNA, this golden thread that weaves through our business. It's through our internal appraisals that we'll do. It'll weave through our training regime that we have within the business. It touches on every part of what we do. It's not something that we tell our clients and it's shelved. It's absolutely something that's weaved into the fabric of Allelys.
So let's talk about the future. I mean, I think you've kind of covered this because there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up. The business has already changed a lot in the last 5 years. It sounds like things are going to change quite a lot over the next 5 years as well. Yeah. So for you as managing director, what kind of excites you about the future?
As I've touched on kind of previously, for me, the excitement is the diversity. I mean, we're a family-owned business. We can be very quick to react to market conditions. We see a bright future in the heavy transport and lifting area. And where those opportunities arise, we're going after them full speed. There's no limit to what we can achieve as a team, as a group of people. Just chasing those opportunities is where that excitement comes from, for sure.
And this is a hard question perhaps, but if you could go to somebody and go, look, I'd love, when you think of Allelys, you think of this. What would you like people to go, yeah, that's what I think of Allelys for. That's what I think about them in terms of perhaps whether it's quality, whether it's precision, for example, one of your three pillars. What would you kind of want to plant in their head?
I think for me, it's client experience. I think from initial engagement through to execution, I want our clients to feel like they've had a constant experience throughout that engagement, whether it's speaking to one of our sales guys about overcoming a certain challenge that they have, through to project management and the work that we do in the early stages of a project, through to the execution, and then ultimately close out. I think that customer experience is really important to us, and it's something that we hang our hat on. We're a family-owned business, we're a sustainable business. And that for me is the thing that I want clients to think. That's why we come to Allelys, because we get that level of service.
We've talked quite a lot in this episode about the opportunities, and it sounds like there are loads of them in terms of growth for Allelys, but also opportunities within the industry as well. I guess on that side, there are always going to be challenges. Are there any kind of bumps in the road that you foresee and think that's going to be interesting, but we've got a plan in place, we know where we're going with that?
I think we want to focus on what we're doing. There's always challenges in any business, and that's sometimes a competitor coming into the market, or but for us, we just need to focus on what we do as a business. We've got, as I've said before, really great pedigree in what we do. We've got capacity to do what we do, competence to do what we do. And we really stand out within this industry. So yeah, I think there's always going to be challenges. As we said, in a project business, there's always these last minute changes or things that we didn't necessarily foresee. But it's about how we react to those, and by being a business that can very quickly make decisions and can be very nimble, we can overcome those challenges far quicker than anybody else. So yeah, I think for me, it's focusing internally at the moment, not focusing on what the rest of the world is doing, understanding what opportunities arise in the coming years, being quick to react to that, and pushing ourselves forward.
Good place to leave it. Rich, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.